Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Starring Angelina Jolie, Elle Fanning, Harris Dickinson, Sam Riley, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Ed Skrein, Robert Lindsay, and Michelle Pfeiffer, and directed by Joachim Ronning. Forgive me if I said that wrong. So before I get into this movie, I'm gonna just be totally honest. I wanted to expect Maleficent to turn into a dragon, and that ever happen in this movie? Let's find out. Three villagers steal a creature from a tree and takes it to Lickspittle, played by Warwick Davis, who tests it for Queen Ingrid, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, whom when I first saw her, I knew she was up to something immediately. Which was obvious. It was immediately obvious. She makes it a weapon by the end of the movie, and I don't really like that plot too much. It's been 5 years since the event of the first film, and Aurora, returned by Elle Fanning, was elected Queen by Maleficent, returned by Angelina Jolie, and Aurora has a lot on her mind, and Prince Philip, this time, played by Harris Dickinson, proposes to Aurora and proposes her for marriage, and Maleficent to go to his castle for dinner with her mother, Queen Ingrid, and King John, played by Robert Lindsay. And these opening scenes are rather corny, and these characters are not as interesting as in the first film. Thank God the three good fairies are barely in this movie to annoy me, and King John is pretty much not kicked out of for half of the movie, and I already brought up Ingrid being suspicious, and the cat around Queen Ingrid did get on my nerves after a while. The scene at the dinner table was awkward and uncomfortable, particularly since Ingrid is making Maleficent upset as she goes off, and we'll get this revealed later in the movie that Ingrid stabbed King John, and they're led to believe Maleficent did it, and she escapes and gets shot by Ingrid's sniper, and she falls in the water and gets saved by another fairy like her, which was kind of a preposterous, and it's obvious it was Ingrid who stabbed the king. That made me very upset that it was just so obvious. Conall, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor, rescues Maleficent and shelters her in a fairy world, and he wants peace with the humans, whereas Bora, played by Ed Skrein, wants war with the humans, but at the end of the day, he's not vengeful completely like Ingrid, and Conall is like King John, where he wants peace and with the fairies. And my problem is Bora is a bland character of a character, and Conall comes off to me unlikable. And I do like the actor Chiwetel Ejiofor, but Ed Skrein has always been bland to me, which is a real shame. And I'm curious to know if he'll ruin Roland Emmerich's upcoming movie of this month. Ingrid makes the announcement of Aurora's wedding, not only to people but the creatures as well. Meanwhile, the phoenix is given to Maleficent, and Conall, which will come up at the end of the movie, Aurora's wedding is in 3 days, and Ingrid comes off slimy about Aurora's wedding dress, and I kind of like that Maleficent will get the power of the phoenix. But is it what I wanted? No. But the planning of Aurora's wedding while missing Maleficent, and is frustrated that she became a different person. And I'm not buying all this by Elle Fanning. Ingrid creates a weapon to kill all the fairies and steals all the flowers of the dead fairies, and Conall gets killed. Well, not killed, but stabbed to death or shot. I couldn't really tell you. While Bora prepares for war after the flowers of the dead have been stolen by Ingrid's kingdom, which was also kind of corny as heck. Aurora's wedding day is here, and the creatures come in the castle, and Aurora finds out that Maleficent didn't curse King John. It was Ingrid, and which was already obvious from the first frame. And she tells Prince Philip the truth after she gets captured by the guards, and she gets out in a clever way, which was just rather a trap cliche. Ingrid closes the door and starts music and poisons the creatures in the church. And Diaval, returned by Sam Riley, who had nothing to do this entire movie except at the end sequence, as I'm about to talk about, where he sneaks past the guards, I was very upset by his involvement in this movie. The war between humans and fairies begins, and the humans use their secret weapon while Aurora and Diaval get to the wedding room, or the church, I'll say, to free the creatures, and Philip and a guard fight each other, which was a pretty bad fight, particularly since Bora pushes the guard away. Meanwhile, the blue fairy, Flittle, sacrifices herself, and Diaval turns into a bear and fights the guards, and Maleficent arrive to the battle and to fight off Ingrid, and Ingrid shoots Maleficent as she turns to ash, and Diaval frees the creatures. That's what it was. And Maleficent comes back as a phoenix, and Philip tells Bora that he doesn't want this war, which was kind of stupid because Ingrid wanted the war in the first place. They save the day as Ingrid turns into a goat, and the wedding is still on, and King John is cured, and Maleficent gives Aurora away. Why? Because she asked, and that ending was cute at best, but it's not my favorite as far as I'm concerned. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 3.6 out of 10. This movie is predictable, unconvincing, and it felt very tired, and the ending was cute, but unfortunately it's not enough for me to like it as much as the first film. And I really wasn't buying these characters, and I predicted kind of wrong because I thought she was going to be a dragon, and I guess I'm happy about that, but still, I didn't like the film. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for this Maleficent retrospective, and until then, well.